Yeah, right.
Episode 34. Wow. This feels weird 3 weeks in a row.
Is it 3 weeks in a row?
I think so.
It's 2 weeks in a row, and we skipped a week. And then it was a week. So we're trying out, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give you a teaser, a preview of sorts of testing out Facebook Live here with our
And
podcast.
It's working,
And it seems to be working. Perfect. So if you have any questions during this trial period, leave them in the comments. We'll get to them. We're going to cut it off in about 5 minutes, and then you have to listen to the rest of the podcast. Download it on your favorite podcast player, whether I use Podcast Republic,
iTunes.
SoundCloud. Of course, we'll post it on BluegrassMMA.com as well. And I probably need to turn
Your
that sound
computer's
off.
Going crazy.
Yes.
But last week, you and I both went up to Akron, Honor Fighting Championship number 2. I did commentary. You did the results for Bluegrass MMA, and then wrote up some articles after that. What an event. I mean, just quick thoughts. That was the first Honor event for both of us. Neither one of us made it to the first one. But, man, I talked to Jeremy Caudell afterwards, who's the promoter, and he just basically talked about how he's a wrestling promoter, and he brought some of his wrestling promotion tactics to MMA, and you could definitely see it with the production and, you know, some of the fighters and things like that. I thought that was awesome.
Absolutely was. I love production, as I've always said. Hardrock knows I've always said this. I'm all about the lights and not about the fights. I love production. It brings a whole nother level to a show, and him being a wrestling background, putting on the OCW events for many years, bringing that flair to a MMA show. It was noticeable. I liked it a lot, and you're starting to see a lot of promotions kind of get the grasp of that, because you want fans to recognize it as a brand, and they're paying $30-$40 tickets, even
Right.
more if they're buying a table. You know, you want to put on a good show, not just inside the cage, but also outside the cage.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was a great show. Just being able to see it from the commentary booth, the place was packed. We got there an hour and a half early, and the place was there was already a line out the door, people trying to get in, and this is after they lost their main event the day before. Isaiah Chapman, of course, got sick and unable to make weight. So that was a fight that people were really looking forward to, but I don't think that anybody got the memo that he
Right.
wasn't fighting. So people were still pumped to see. One of the things, and I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, there was a lot of people there, but it wasn't the most raucous crowd.
It wasn't.
For how tight and how close-knit that venue is, especially in the summer, it can get hot.
Wait, why would you get in trouble for saying that?
I've gotten in trouble for saying that before, that the fans weren't loud. But that's not what I'm saying. It just was a very relaxed, calm atmosphere. People, of course, got loud when their fighter came out, but it wasn't like it was a crazy atmosphere the whole time. But it was still an amazing crowd. I mean, you look at the videos, go up on Fight TV and check out the replay of the stream. Of course, listen to my beautiful voice the whole time. But you can see the crowd in the background. It was great. I mean, just the production value, seeing Mike Moran doing the producing behind the scenes. Mike was on his probably the best game ever, getting replays of everything. We had early on in the night, we had a really blatant cup shot, and he caught it immediately, like 2 seconds into the fight.
From my angle, I couldn't see the cup shot. I heard the crowd go, ooh, you know. But then I turned to turn around to watch one of the TVs. I caught it too late. Was it an actual piece? From my point of view, it didn't look legit.
It was, I don't even remember which fight it was, but it was definitely just straight up the middle. Like, it was like he punted, and yeah, it was pretty bad.
Poor guy. He didn't even take the full 5 minutes. He took, maybe a minute?
Yeah. I've seen some pretty bad ones that none of them are good ones, I don't think. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Josh Roller picking up the win in the main event, moving up to 4-1. You had Andrew Law coming back.
Impressive outing from Law.
Yeah. And then just the amateurs, just the talent level of the amateurs. Honor is setting themselves up to have a really good year with a ton of amateur fighters and guys that are, 3-0, 4-0, experienced records, and guys from all over the place too. There weren't really even any strong style fighters on the card, but there were some guys from Evolve, a bunch of guys from Erie, PA, three elements, jiu-jitsu.
Yep.
bunch of guys from Aries, Dave Graff's gym. Of course, I'm forgetting plenty of other ones, but Victory MMA had a handful of fighters. I think 3 fighters went 3-0 on the night, including Andrew Law's win. So, yeah, I mean that's the thing that going up to Northeast Ohio, you see a completely different group of fighters than what you see when we've been going to a lot of events in Kentucky, and just interesting to see a lot of those gyms on the same card, and Scott Corbin, Matchmaker of the Year, Scott Corbin getting his award on Saturday, but putting together yet another great card.
Yeah, so we received our Bluegrass MMA award plaques in the mail finally, and we was able to hand out 3 of those this past weekend at the Honor Fighting Championship too. 1 to Scott Corbin. Also got to hand out the award to Max Meese and Brian Hauser, who happens to be fighting this weekend.
Making his pro debut, and there's an article up on Bluegrass MMA right now, how he predicted. He won the amateur knockout of the year last year, and he's predicting a first-round knockout in his pro debut, so maybe trying to get that pro knockout of the year as well.
Right? That would be nice.
He's also fighting Jarrell Hodges on that card, too, main event, taking on Saeed Yaqub in the main event. So that's a heck of a card. I'm kind of sad that I'm missing it, and it's actually not going to be streaming. I was talking to Matt Montalvo, so maybe be able to watch some of the stream from Hardrock down in Shepherdsville.
Are his fights normally streamed?
They typically are, but I guess he's not streaming this one. And Hardrock's not streaming this weekend either, so if you want to watch local fights, you have to get out and watch local fights. I'm not sure. The other event this weekend is Hoosier, and I don't think that they've been streaming either because they
don't stream their fights.
TV deal.
Right.
In Chicago. We talked about that last week. So if you're in Northwest Ohio, up by Toledo area, you got to go get to New League Fights. If you're in Indiana, Hoosier. If you're in Kentucky, you got Hardrock. So busy weekend this weekend.
Yeah, we don't have too many weekends like that where there's multiple events going on.
Yeah, the first really busy weekend for us in a while since maybe like the weekend after the first weekend of December when people were trying to get those last ditch events in.
No, absolutely. I'm excited to be going down to Shepherdsville, Kentucky for Hardrock MMA 96. You along with me. You'll be back in the broadcast booth once again.
Yeah, me and Kelly Patrick.
Yes. Good old Kelly Patrick. Tons of fights down there at Hardrock. But not to get away from Honor Fighting, I just don't want to kind of glance over that. One of the things that I really like, too, is he kind of announced his lineup for the rest of the year, and he's talking about doing 2 shows I would really like to attend. One, he mentioned he's going to do like an all-day event where it's going to be wrestling in the afternoon, then they have a rock concert, and then after the rock concert, have the MMA event. So all-day event. Now, I don't know.
Up at Nautica. Jacobs Pavilion, Cleveland.
Was it at Nautica?
That's the one, yeah.
That's the one that's at
in
Nautica.
August, yeah.
Okay, I thought that was a separate event at Nautica.
Yeah, they're going to do that event in August, I believe. They're back at Chaparral's in March, end of March. Then, I forget the venue, but then they're doing an event in May, I want to say, and then an event in June, and then August. I
thought it was the one in June was the one that had the multiple events.
He said August. We'll have to clarify.
Yeah, well, anyways. But no, the Jacobs Nautical Center in Cleveland, amazing venue. That's the first time I think I ran into you up there. Was that
event?
Yeah, Fight Night in the Flats 9.
I think the first event that we both were at was the
You're right.
Event,
which
was like a couple of months before that, and then I got banned from the second one.
Yes, good times, McKinney. Good times.
Yeah, no, that's going to be a great. I mean, for a promotion like that to come on their second event and already be putting on shows like what we saw, it's awesome.
Yes, and one of the cool things that they did, Honor, is in the name. They're very patriotic. I'm sure if you watch any of his videos that he's put out leading up to this event, you'll know that he's very
on the motorcycle.
Yeah, on the motorcycle. They brought a kid in who was getting ready to enlist in the Army, and they had him do his induction right there in center of the cage before the event started.
I was going to try to get them to have you do the same thing.
yeah, I'm sure the Army would take me. That was different. I've never seen that before in an event.
Yeah, it was really interesting, and I don't know how all that works.
I don't either.
My sister is in the Navy, but yeah. See, I don't the whole swearing in, and then they said he has a chance to because he wants to go. He wants to be a Green Beret.
Correct.
And yeah, and I had 2 military veterans sitting next to me, or at least one doing commentary.
No, there were 7 of them.
I just make
them
up. Yeah. No, but Norm Carrero, who was in the military, so that was pretty cool to see. And they had everybody that was there that was a military member. I don't want to go too far into the whole. Of course, I always stand for the flag, but
Don't lie, I saw you kneeling over there.
yeah, I was kneeling. I can understand why people, if you don't want to, that's your prerogative. And the best part about living in America is that you have that option. You don't have to stand for the flag. You don't have to praise the president, supreme leader, whoever. I just think that it's crazy. Everybody. Of course, we're gonna get tons of flack for this, but for me,
you are not me.
For me, for me, the
Direct
thing
your
I love,
hate mail to
the thing I love
McKinney.
most about this country is that you have that freedom to stand. You have the freedom to sit, but at the end of the day, the reason why you have that freedom is because of the military, because we have the country protected. We have the best military in the world.
Correct.
But I believe that we still do have that right to do whatever you want. And it's your prerogative. Like I said, I stand, but you can do whatever you want. I can understand why, if you want to try to make a statement, it's not necessarily a statement against the military to kneel for the flag, People turned it into something completely different than what it is and what it was supposed to be. As I'm sure we are already getting the hate mail.
Yes. We've actually received 3 already.
We'll move away from politics.
All right, everybody. We're, like I said at the beginning of this, we're only going to do a quick snapshot of our podcast that we're recording live simultaneously as we're recording this live on Facebook. We're going to cut this off of Facebook Live now. If you want to listen to the rest of it, download the podcast later this evening. But before we cut off the stream here on Facebook, I want to reiterate this weekend, we got 3 events going down. David and myself will be at Hardrock MMA 96, which takes place in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. You have Hoosier Fight Club 33 going on, I believe, in Michigan City.
Michigan City, yeah.
Yes.
Blue Chip Casino.
Yes, Blue Chip Casino. And then, of course, New League Fight Series, which takes place at, I don't know the name of the
Holiday
hotel.
Inn and Suites, or Quality Inn and Suites in Montpelier, Ohio.
Yes.
Awesome venue if you've never been there.
Great, yeah, absolutely. All this information and more can be found on BluegrassMMA.com. And again, subscribe to our podcast so you can listen to the rest of this later. Until then, everybody take care.
And if have listened to...
Too late.
I'm just saying, if you're still listening, hopefully people didn't think that was the end of the podcast as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
But that's something we're trying out. We've done some streaming on Facebook and things before. But definitely just keep up with us. I wanted to also give us a shout out. Instagram. We stepped our Instagram game up this past
Considerably.
week. Follow us at BluegrassMMA. Of course, I think we have we need a separate Pinterest game up too. I always make a joke about that because
you do.
I think it was before I even started with Bluegrass. I remember you mentioning
Yes.
Bluegrass MMA Pinterest on old back in the day Bluegrass MMA Live, and it just stuck with me. And I thought that was funny that Bluegrass would have a Pinterest.
The one thing I always hate about Pinterest is you can never tell who or when you last posted. So if you wanted to go scope on somebody's profile, you don't know when they last posted the last pin. It's one thing I always hated. But when I was doing social media for businesses, it was nice because you didn't have to worry about, well, I pinned 4 times this week. Here's the dates. You don't have to worry about that because there's no dates associated with it. Now, granted, I haven't been on Pinterest in probably a good year or so I don't know if that's changed or not.
Literally did not know that. Angie's the Pinterest queen with the recipes, vegetarian recipes. If you have any vegetarian recipes, send them my way at MMA McKinney. I'll have Angie make them for me.
So I was posting, this would kind of give us a date here. I was posting all the articles as they were happening onto Pinterest, and the last article that was posted was IT Fight Series 30, Ohio versus Georgia.
Well, but that was, 2015? And then they
January
jumped
31st. That was 3 years ago today,
Yeah.
David McKinney.
Yeah. They and then they did I think they got to 39 that year and then jumped to 71. Then their next event was 39 and then 71. So not confusing at all.
No, not confusing.
Or 60 or 50. I don't know what the number was, but they jumped 20 some events because Scott Shealy wanted to incorporate all of the total number of events that he's had.
Yeah, he's had several promotions. I don't know if you saw on your timeline today, but this day 3 years ago, we got our award from IT Fight Series.
Oh, yeah.
For being the best media group.
Wonder if they still think that.
Oh,
Let's ask Aaron.
Yeah. Oh, you mean
We should take it. We should take it to the next event and just use that as our entrance into the arena.
Yeah.
The Alliance MMA event at March 3rd. So, but yeah, let's talk. Let's talk about Honor. We talked briefly about Honor. Not to get off topic with that, but we're going to try to do a recap of last week and then a preview of some of the events this weekend. Josh Roller winning. The biggest thing for me that really stood out in that fight was, former Division I wrestler, or Division II, I forget whichever division, but former collegiate wrestler at Notre Dame College. And the way that he has turned into a true mixed martial artist. A purple belt in jiu-jitsu, I believe, now at this point, but his striking is a thing to me that continues to really put him into that next level of fighters in the state of Ohio. And the thing that I pinpointed, and I'm glad you put it in the article, it started with a nasty uppercut, and then he just started flurrying. And, of course, wrestling roots come out. He goes for that double leg and gets the takedown, and then it takes Brandon Webb's back, eventually chokes him out, gets the rear naked choke. But it was set up with the striking.
It was.
And that was a beautiful display of putting it all together.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the biggest thing that I think that a lot of wrestlers in the sport really, it looks, I don't want to say robotic, but putting it together and making those transitions from pure striking to wrestling to jiu-jitsu. That's the biggest thing in that now. Josh, I think that was his best performance. I've seen most of his fights, and that was by far his best performance against a really tough guy in Brandon Webb, who himself was coming off of a, I think, 11-month layoff, hadn't fought in a while.
Right.
Had some tough times getting fights down in Georgia, came up to Ohio and fought one of the best up-and-coming 145-pounders in the state. And I think that now that puts Josh, we were talking about this, who the top, 145-pounders in the state are. That puts Josh up there, I think, with Cody Stevens, Antonio Castillo, Frank Caraballo, and I think Josh is probably up there. I mean, he might even be number 1 or 2. I don't know. You can rank those guys whatever way you want to rank them, but
right.
I'd love to see him fight any of those guys.
No, I would too, and I think it could possibly happen. I know it feels like Castillo is always up for the challenge, always open to fight anybody.
Yeah, he just announced that he's fighting at Bayfront Brawl, though. So
he did. Well, Roller just fought, so maybe this fight can take place later this year.
We'll have to talk to Nicole
Castillo.
That'd be a good fight. That would be a really, really good fight.
Yeah.
But he looked great, and probably, like I said, probably the best that I've seen in a long time. And a guy that took a loss in his pro debut and now is just
4-fight winning streak,
4 in a row.
3 of 4 came by rear naked choke too.
Yeah, and then co-main event, Andrew Law really just looked like, again, probably the best performance of his career. And taking on a guy in Mickey Marsack, who himself was on a hot streak, 3 straight wins, 3 straight. I think all 3 via submission. I can't remember if they were first round submission or not, but 3 straight wins via submission. Andrew Law's coming in 14 months, hasn't been in the cage, dealt with a ton of injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Came out and looked like he hadn't taken a day off at all.
He looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
I was very impressed by his outing, like you said, taking 14 months off, and he made it seem so easy. And like I think the best part that I liked about it was his mentality when he was walking to the cage during the fight, before it started, and then afterwards. It felt like he was very comfortable inside there.
That was the thing when I talked to him leading up to the fight. He really stressed was that having that time off gave him time to kind of reset and focus more on the mental aspect of the game. And you even talked to him after it was mostly your conversation, but I kind of stepped in at the end of it. But you were talking to him about his walkout song.
Yeah.
And he said, I used to use Beck's Loser, but he wanted to switch it up and really just wanted something kind of in the same vein, not something that's going to like a Disturbed or Eminem or something that's going to go like crazy, like hard rock music. He wanted something more laid back. And I forget what the song
it was. Lit. I forget the name of the song, but it was a lit song. Yeah, My Own Worst Enemy.
So a 90s throwback. And it was not a hard rock song, but more like an alt rock type of song. But definitely a cool, I don't know if I could probably pick a song that describes him better. But
yeah, honestly,
just the not necessarily the lyrics, but the mood of the song.
right.
And I think that really it was. I mean, you saw just a laser focused like guy who looked like he was born to be in there in that fight. And big win, 6 straight wins now.
6, yeah.
Of course, the one asterisk with the one being via disqualification, but he was dominating that fight that he, won via DQ.
Right.
But he's a guy who, maybe gets another couple wins and maybe gets a crack at a Bellator or UFC. I think that I would love to see him back on an Honor FC card
I would
pretty
too.
soon in the short term. I know that the next card in March, I talked to Scott Corbin. It's already starting to fill up fast, so not 100% sure if he's going to be on that one. But
that might be a quick turnaround for him.
yeah, I mean, he's
but then
already,
again, he didn't spend long in the cage this time.
Yeah, he's already in the top 2 or 3 in the state of Ohio in the rankings. So see who they can maybe find for him next fight out.
No, absolutely. And then in the amateur side, I was very impressed, and I was, unbeknownst to me until I talked to you, I just assumed Ben Meese was related to all the Meeses, but all the Meeses aren't related from up in that area.
I don't know which one. At this point, I know Austin Meese is the son of Bob Meese, who's the uncle of Cody Garbrandt. So Austin would be his cousin. I don't think any of the other ones are related to him, but I don't know. We could be wrong. That's what I've just been told.
Ben Meese, he won his fight. He was earlier on in the evening.
Yeah.
After he won his fight, he got on the mic in his post-fight interview and
Asked
called
for a
out.
title shot.
Yeah, asked for the amateur welterweight title shot against the winner of
Braden Liggett and
Dorns Butler. But
KO Butler.
Why does he go by KO? That's not his legit name. That's his nickname, right?
Yeah,
Right.
KO.
Yeah.
Why don't you go by KO Valley?
TKO Valley.
Unanimous decision Valley.
Yeah.
But that's his nickname, KO.
Which
And-
I assumed, but I saw
Man.
KO. I don't know if it was on the official Fire database. I saw KO. I'm like, wait, I didn't think Ohio would put nicknames.
No, his name on the official, I think it has a nickname on there, but
Maybe that's what I saw
his
it.
name is Dorns. Dorns?
No, what I saw it was on the
On his-
fight card that they printed off at the
Yeah.
venue.
On his Facebook page, it says KO Butler, too. Either way.
Anyways, nonetheless, Brandon Liggett and
Braden,
Braden Liggett ended up winning the fight. So it would be nice to see if the promotion puts that fight together. if
And
they can make it
Liggett,
happen.
well, the kind of backstory was Meese had lost to Butler in his last fight. It was the last fight for both of them last year. So there's potential for that rematch, but Liggett came in and won. So,
Right.
And you, of course, need to be coming off of a win to fight for a title in Ohio. But Liggett was probably one of the most, polished strikers as an amateur as I've seen in a long time. He looked
really good.
Utilized, probably 6'2", 170 pounds, utilized his jab effectively, which
Yes.
I love. There's nothing that makes me happier, feel more clean inside, and make myself smile than a fighter who uses a jab in MMA. Because nobody ever uses it.
You know?
And especially a guy that has the length and the reach that Liggett does at 170 pounds, and he just kept KO Butler on the outside the whole fight. And Butler, you could see him starting to really get frustrated and desperate and start to wing bombs and just try to go for the knockout, whereas Liggett was just picking him apart the whole fight. So that was a good fight. That was probably my favorite fight of the night, even though there was a little bit of boos from the crowd. But I think that might have been fans of KO Butler. But that was just a great back and forth fight.
I had a bunch of KO Butler fans right by me, and that's where a lot of the boos I felt were coming from.
And then Jamal McClain looked good. I think he's 4-0 now, or 5-0.
He's 4-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, both those fight. That was the amateur main event. Him versus Chris Fatigue. What a last name. I bet he gets tired of people saying jokes about fatigue, especially guys in the gym.
Like you just said.
Yeah.
He gets tired of it. You probably didn't even realize you said that, did you?
I did, but I didn't think you'd make the correlation to that.
Yeah.
But
I did.
I'm happy. But yeah, both those guys went into the main event, amateur main event, 3-0.
Is this Titanic that you're watching on TV, by the way? I just saw Leonardo DiCaprio kissing somebody, so I always assume every Leonardo. Why are you watching Lifetime?
I don't know. I just
the
walked in.
scenes.
I came home and
You
I
must
set
have been
everything up.
watching Lifetime yesterday.
No, I was hitting a bunch of channels. I was trying to get a 1220, which is a True
Were
TV
you
for
watching
Impractical
the Christmas
Jokers.
Prince?
Impractical Jokers, man.
Oh.
It's my show. And I guess I could
Watching some Hallmark movies or something on Lifetime. Anyway, here Little People, Big World's coming on.
How do you know about this show?
I don't
You
know,
watch the channel?
I see Little People, and I assume that.
It's a big
How many
world.
Little People shows are there?
I don't know. A ton.
Anyway, Honor FC. That was a great show.
I'm trying to set the mood here for you, Davey.
For
Watching
a
Titanic.
lifetime.
Yes.
Watching women get beat. What kind of mood is that supposed to set?
Yes. Anyways, yeah. So that was Honor Fighting Championship 2. All around great event. Glad that we got to take the time to go up there.
Yeah, the hospitality and the professionalism, and seeing how that show was run, just as a second show from our promotion. But they have people behind the scenes that have done shows before,
They have.
which very smart move from Jeremy Caudale.
Oh, absolutely.
Putting a great team together, team that has been around local MMA, knows how promotions and events are supposed to run. But just a great team. And also, I got to work with a couple people on commentary who had never done commentary before, and both guys did great. Norm Carrero and Jose Burgos.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. Jose, his breakdown of the technique on the ground, even striking, was fantabulous.
Fantastic. Now, was there anything that you learned from this weekend from either one of them that you're going to take and apply to your future commentary jobs?
No, I don't learn anything from anybody. No, one of the things that was nice for me was I didn't have to throw out as much. I was just kind of there setting them up. A lot of times when I do commentary, I'm doing a lot more play-by-play and talking about the actual fights. This one I was saying, fighter A in the blue shorts, fighter B in the red shorts. There you go, talk. And they did a great job. So it was a little different for me. I kind of took a back seat, which I was fine with. I was just watching the fights, and I would go 30 seconds without talking. I would throw out stuff like 30 seconds left. Who do you think won that round? Made my job a lot easier, but both guys did a really good job, and it was nice having two guys that both have fighting experience in there as well.
Now, we talked about last podcast about the difference between 2 and 3 people in the commentary booth.
Yeah.
There was 3 this weekend with you.
3.
3 was a bit rough.
Yeah. It's tough, but you can make it work. And I think the biggest thing is at 3, it takes a lot longer to gel with all 3 guys. And there's always somebody that there's not enough words for everybody to talk. It's just like saying in basketball, there's only one basketball. You can't have 3 stars. So someone has to kind of be a role player. That's what I did. I mean, I just said I don't want to say basic, but I kind of did a lot of the setups.
Right.
For the fights, and mentioned make sure you watch us on Fight TV, and that's where a lot of the sponsorships and stuff, which we didn't have any sponsor reads for this show, but that's where a lot of that just do the kind of grunt work that and then let's set the other guys up to look good.
There we go.
But it was fun. I mean, I always love doing commentary, working with Mike Moran, great cameraman as well.
Yes.
Other than one of the fights, it kind of threw me off. My headset went out and I couldn't hear anything, so I should have taken my headset off to be able to hear.
That was his cue for you to shut up.
And it was loud, yeah.
Yeah.
So, great show. Excited to go back. Quick turnaround this weekend and do commentary at Hardrock 96.
Yes, which goes down again at Shepherdsville, Kentucky. And I can never get this name right. Paraquet Springs Conference Center.
That's an awesome venue, too, if you've never been there, by the way.
I do love it.
Great venue for MMA.
Yes.
Perfect size. It's nice. It's not too nice, not run down. It's probably one of the best venues that Hard Rock runs. That, and then now the Northern Kentucky Convention Center is awesome.
I do like the
I've never been to the Bowling Green. I'm not going to make it to this Bowling Green show either.
Honestly, Bowling Green, Shepherdsville, they're very similar.
Really?
Yeah.
Sloan Convention Center?
Yeah.
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 I've never been there. That's too far.
It is a haul. It is definitely a haul. I think it's like 5 hours.
Yeah, 100 hours, I think.
Yeah, 100 hours.
I counted.
Yep. Yeah.
No, I think it's like 4 from Cincinnati if you go straight through, but you always go to Lexington.
Right. Yeah. I meet up with
Yeah.
Gary, and then we travel down.
It'd be quicker if you just drove straight through.
Yeah, but if I meet with Gary in Lexington, I don't have to drive the rest of the way.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
it's a
Give and take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this weekend, Hardrock MMA 96, we got 14 fights going down, being capped off in the main event. A fight that I'm really looking forward to now. I didn't realize the amount of talking that was going on in it. But we have Ruben War from AFS Academy taking on longtime veteran BJ Ferguson out of Louisville Combat.
Did you talk to BJ?
I did.
What did he say?
I did not get a chance to read that yet.
Leave me alone, Juan.
Yeah. Said, don't talk to me. No, I tossed him a couple questions, getting ready to prepare a article for this weekend. And I haven't had a chance to get to read it. I've been busy at work all day today. But I'm looking forward to putting that article together, seeing what he has to say. But
I did the Ruben War. He had a lot to say.
yes, he did. He had a lot to say.
He basically said what the hype for the Fergusons, because it's BJ and Josh, and there's another one,
Isaiah.
Yep. He doesn't believe in the hype of them. And you hear about his background. I mean, he was basically living in his car for a couple of years, driving around, going to different gyms, and he fought in like Hawaii. He's originally from California, was in the Navy there.
So did he drive his car to Hawaii?
Yeah, drove his car to Hawaii. No. But I mean, he was, I don't know how he got to Hawaii, but drove around. He was in Oklahoma at one point, Virginia at one point, and then finally settled in Kentucky. And originally went to Area 502. He and Phil Perkins, I assume, didn't see eye to eye. So he made the move to AFS Academy in Richmond, which is not necessarily all that close.
No.
I mean, it's not like right down the street. It's a big difference, even in Kentucky. But living a kind of a nomad lifestyle. But he was basically homeless for a couple of years, and he talked about he started out his career 3-7, and he was saying that he would work 70 hours a week, go cut weight, go back to work, go cut weight, weigh in, go back to work, get like an hour of sleep, have to work in the morning, and then fight. That's how motivated and dedicated to the dream of fighting he was.
That's crazy.
But there's a little bit of trash talk in the article. Go check it out on BluegrassMMA.com. But he definitely is an interesting guy, and since he's been with AFS, 6-1 record.
Yeah, I saw his first fight here in the Tri-State was at Hardrock MMA 74.
Lost to Rob Covington, right?
Yep,
yeah.
That's back in 2015.
And that was before. I think he was with Area 502 at that point.
I believe so.
And then made the jump to AFS and went out and fought in California one more time, and then fought for V3, I believe.
Yep.
Won that fight, beat Jesse Sanderson, and then lost to Scott Heckman. And I'm doing this off memory while I think you're looking at it.
I am.
Lost to Scott Heckman, who Scott's like 25-8 or something ridiculous. So no shame in losing to a guy like that. And then has reeled off 4 straight wins under the Hard Rock banner to earn a title shot.
Yes.
Beat Charlie Stanford, beat Jacob Kilburn, who was previously undefeated.
Ian Lawler and Braden
Ward. So a solid list of names there went fighting for Hard Rock.
Yeah, he's last time he fought was back in Shepherdsville last September when he beat Kilburn.
Yeah.
That was a fight where after he won, I can't recall what happened prior to that fight with Jacob, but some words were exchanged afterwards.
Yeah, maybe something at weigh-ins.
As well as during the fight.
Something there was called fat.
Yeah, possibly. Watching too much Lifetime.
But he's taking on BJ Bruce Ferguson Jr.
Yes.
And, of course, on The Ultimate Fighter. He was on the same season that his brother was on, right?
Yeah.
Season 14.
Was it 14?
I think it was season 14. And then
I feel like it's way longer than that.
Bellator as well.
Yep.
But we haven't seen him fight in 2.5 years.
Yeah. So apparently Ruben War was calling out some of the top dogs in the state, and BJ Ferguson, any of the Ferguson brothers really are some of the top echelon fighters in the state. They're veterans.
That was the reason why this fight was set up.
That's what I'm hearing. That's the rumbles on the street.
Interesting.
Yeah.
In
order to be the best, you got to beat the best, so to say.
I mean, he in the article that I wrote, Ruben War said he wants to be the best out of Kentucky, and he's already fought top-notch fighters, and they're not going to match his speed, agility, and heart. So, really looking forward to that.
He's a tough kid. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, has a really kind of grinding style, but he's not afraid to stand and trade either.
No.
Like I saw him beat Charlie Stanford, and I was not expecting that. I mean,
Charlie's fast.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that either.
Yeah. So he looked good in that fight. But Ferguson, we'll see. I mean, 2.5 years off is a long time for a guy to fight a guy that's been active, that's younger than you. Ferguson, I think, is 36, and War is 29. So right in his prime.
Right.
So big test for Ruben War.
Absolutely. And that's one of the this is one of the fights I don't get this too often, where like I really want to see this fight as a fan.
Yeah.
And not just as a blogger, but as a fan. I really want to see this fight.
It'd be a good one.
Yes.
It'd be a really good one. I think that always a great crowd in Shepherdsville. This February show for February Super Bowl card for Hard Rock always seems to be one of their best of the year.
Yes. So not only that main event, but also in the co-main event that night, Jacob Dorman is taking on a Van Camp brother. The Van Camps seem to be everywhere.
Yeah.
But yes, Kellen, who's making his pro debut.
No.
No,
It's
that
an amateur fight.
is that an amateur fight?
Yeah, amateur
Oh,
fight.
I was thinking.
Amateur featherweight title.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Excuse
that
me
should
on
be
that
good.
one.
Combined 16-0. Gary was. I saw he was writing an article that said Dorman was 7-0, but he's listed at 6-0. Let's just. I mean, he might as well be 7-0. Give him another fight.
Just toss another one on there. Let's make it 8-0.
But Kellen has he won the Hard Rock title last year, knocked out Clay Baker, and then towards the end of last year bumped up to 155, won the Coliseum Combat lightweight title on the same show that his brother bumped up a weight class, Cameron, and won the Hard Rock welterweight title.
Right.
So he has Cameron Van Camp as a lightweight fighter, but has 2 welterweight titles right now. So they're both, interestingly, they're both the Hard Rock champ and the Coliseum Combat champ. They're just trying to win all the B2. They might be the Bluegrass MMA champ here pretty soon if we put out titles.
Right. No, the Van Camps are... There's something unique about it. Honestly, they remind me of...
Which one's the oldest?
Kellen. No, it's not Kellen. He's the youngest, yeah. They remind me of the 3 Ferguson brothers.
Yeah.
When I was first getting into the MMA, the local MMA scene here back in 2011.
Yeah.
They were like the guys that everybody wanted to emulate. Everybody wanted to beat them. It's like the Van Camps now. Like everybody tries to be like them. Everybody tries to beat them.
The Van Camps, though, they seem to be a little quieter. Like
they are.
They kind of like, for as good as they are, they like fly under the radar. We nominated Kellen for Amateur Fighter of the Year and Cameron for Pro Fighter of the Year. Which, if I had to pick, I would have picked Cameron as the Pro Fighter of the Year. He's 4-1, won Hard Rock title and Coliseum Combat title going up a weight class. And then Kellen won 2 titles. Other than, I mean, Tyler Shipp was an obvious choice for Amateur Fighter of the Year. But
right.
I think that Pro Fighter of the Year was the first year where it was wide open. But I thought that Cameron had a really good shot to win it. Just, kind of flew under the radar. So it's interesting.
It's very interesting.
I usually don't give my picks of who I think is going to win stuff like that. But I really don't care. I just want people to vote for whoever you want to vote for. Just hit the website up and vote. That's gonna be a good show. Speaking of voting, we kind of came up with something new. Do you want to talk about it, or what our new idea was? It's not. It's almost February, but in March we're gonna do Bluegrass MMA Gym Madness is what we're gonna call it. A 64 gym bracket, fan voting to decide, I guess, the best or favorite or whatever gym in the area.
I think the proper way to say it is to find out which gym has the highest fan support.
Yeah, but I don't know if you that's kind of
because in a sense it's really a
popularity
contest.
Yeah,
but popularity contest gets back to the support of the gym.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But we're playing off of March Madness and doing Gym Madness with the popular people. I mean, people love when we do voting stuff.
Oh, they
no
absolutely
matter what
do.
it is.
Yeah,
you can vote. Do you want us to be called Bluegrass MMA or Redgrass MMA? And people would love that. But yeah, people love voting stuff. So it's going to be 6 rounds starting in March. And the fun part is March has 5 weekends. I think we're going to do it every weekend.
Yeah, so that's going to have to go in
March.
April, the first week of April.
Yeah, that'll be the finals.
But so how it's kind of going to work, we're still kind of playing this all by ear now. We got most of it down, finalized. but we're going to open up on the website for anybody to go in there, nominate their gym, put your name, email address, name of the gym. We're going to take the top 64 nominations and create a bracket. We haven't really decided how we're going to do the bracket yet, officially, how we're going to break that down.
Yeah, I think we talked about like north, south, east, and west. It's kind of hard because it would be nice to do by state, but we have 5 states that we cover.
Right. And we also don't know which gyms are going to be nominated yet. So it's hard to say how we're going to break it down until we got that information.
I think that's most likely how we're going to break it down, but yeah, that'll all kind of be play by ear.
Yeah. So once we have all nominations, we're going to throw it up onto Facebook, and we're going to have the fans vote each weekend. 2 gyms are going to go up head to head, and whoever has the most votes that weekend is going to advance to the next round.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first round is going to be
16 matchups,
32 matchups.
Oh yeah, 32 matchups though.
Yeah. So 32 matchups is going to be the first round.
Yep.
And then second weekend will be 16, and then so on and so forth. So while you're filling out your NCAA March Madness bracket, you can also fill out your Bluegrass MMA Gym Madness bracket.
It's going to be exciting.
I hope people I want to see people fill out their brackets, like actually go through every round and fill out their brackets. See how close they can get to the actual results.
It would be, we'll play it by ear this year. And,
I mean, this is something we can do every year.
It is, but maybe next year we can like turn it into something much bigger where we do have like a bracket challenge.
Yeah. But either way, be on the lookout for that. I think we're going to probably start nominations here in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
So get the nominations on the website, and then on Facebook we'll have the voting. People love Facebook.
They do.
People love voting, arguing, everything on Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, we might even... I mean, I don't know. We have Instagram now, too, so we can do some fun stuff with that. But the voting will start March... I think it's like March 2nd.
Yes.
Friday. So we'll probably do like Friday, Saturday, Sunday for voting.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do the championship on Instagram and do it on a story so you can vote.
Yeah.
And you get 24 hours to vote.
Do we have to be... we'll talk about that. But you have to be like verified or something, right?
No.
To vote? Oh, okay.
You just vote.
Either way.
Yeah.
Do it on story.
Yeah.
So you can follow us on Instagram, too.
Yeah.
At BluegrassMMA.
That'd be exciting.
Yeah, we got a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff coming down the pike.
We do it. Now, also, taking place this weekend, a New League Fight Series.
Yeah. New League Fights.
I don't know why. I keep messing
We
it up.
can call it New League Fight Series if we want. Matt Montalvo, I don't think he'll get mad at us. He sent me the finalized card, which we're going to post probably Thursday or Friday.
I'm going to look that up right now. I have not seen the finalized card yet, so I'm not sure who all is fighting on that event.
We got main event. So there's 4 pro fights. Main event, Jarrell Hodge, Saeed Yaqub. Hodge is 5-2. Yaqub is 4-0. That's top 2, I think, fighters, 135 pounders, maybe in the area, squaring off. And that was kind of like a throw on at the end. Like, I know Montalvo had been looking for a fight for Yaqub. He's a tough guy to match because he's just been running through people. Jarrell Hodge said, "Hey, I'll fight him." Of course. He'll fight anybody.
That he will.
Co-main event, Travis Hussey and PJ Cajigas. I think that's how you say his name. Interesting story. Both of those guys, Hussey started out 0-2, won 3 straight fights last year. He was a borderline nominee for Pro Fighter of the Year. Went 3-0 last year. And Cajigas started out his career 0-5, and then won, I think, 4 straight fights, something like that. But he's like 5-1 in his last 5. So
talk about a turnaround.
Yeah, and all those fights are first round finishes. All those wins, so crazy. And then Brian Hauser, Doogie Hauser making his pro debut. He's a guy, man. He's a kind of fits in that mold of that Devontae. Not as crazy as Devontae. No one's as crazy as Devontae, but has that just that same mindset. Him, Jarrell Hodge, Devontae Smith, they all are very similar guys. But Hauser, I think, is probably the most soft spoken. But man, he just was like blasting through guys as an amateur. 5 knockouts as an amateur, including amateur knockout of the year. Making his pro debut, taking on Ryan Mondala, 3-2. Fighting out 5 fights in your pro debut. That's some like confidence going into your pro debut.
Oh, absolutely it is.
He's a guy. Also, check it out. We have an article up on him on BluegrassMMA.com. And then TJ Rigel, former Ohio State wrestler, who I believe was like 7-1 as an amateur as well as Hauser, making his pro debut against James Sanchez. And I believe, if I'm not incorrect, all 4 of those guys, it's basically Ohio versus Team Top Notch out of Chicago. I know Jakob is from Team Top Notch, Cajigas, which I don't know if I'm saying that right. Mandala and Sanchez are all from Team Top Notch in Chicago. So you got Rigel, Hauser, Hussey, and Hodge representing Team Ohio. I think maybe Montalvo should play that up a little bit more.
Right? Doing Ohio versus Illinois.
And then amateur, you got Ty Meese taking on Drew Dixon, Dakota Sorosiak, Daniel Hand, and Larkin Dash, who was nominated for Ring Card Girl of the Year, fighting Cherish Brown. Dash has a 3-1 record. So,
oh, I didn't know Dash was a fighter.
yeah, she kicks butt.
I didn't know
She's a
that.
really good fighter. Ellie Hayden from Bizarro Promotions won the
Ring Card
Girl of the Year. Still got to give out some more.
I think
I'm going to make you go to Bayfront Brawl so you can give out, because
where is that?
Erie, PA. It's only like 6-hour drive.
I got that, man. No problems.
But Ellie won, and then they had the Amateur Fight of the Year, which was a women's fight. Liz Lewis and I can't remember her name, but they won the Amateur Fight of the Year. It was awesome. I remember the fight. I remember watching the fight, but I don't remember what her name was.
Isn't it crazy that we got so many events?
Hope Chase.
Yes.
She won.
Yep.
Yeah. She went like 3-0 or 4-0 last year too. She was in the Amateur Fighter of the Year nominations.
It's crazy. You know, if you think back about throughout the course of the last year, how many fights we've gone to.
Yeah.
And trying to remember specific fights, it can get hard sometimes.
Do you remember? I was actually looking on my time hop. The first year that we formed, we were trying to do 100 events.
Were you
Between
really?
The 3 of us, yeah.
I don't know how close we got. That honestly, that year was probably the best year. That was 2013. It's been on decline every year since. I don't know if it even.
Well, just also the number of events. Like I was looking at, I was looking at Ohio. We just had the first event of Ohio last weekend of January, which is crazy. There were 40 events in Ohio last year still, and this year it's going to be a lot less. I mean,
so one event this month, one event next month.
Yeah.
So 2 events out of.
And then March,
40
I think there's only,
last year.
March, I think there's only 2 or 3. Well, there's 2. There's the Arnold Amateur event, and then Alliance MMA. That same night, there's Cage Thunder. So that's 3 the first weekend.
Yep.
So more in the first weekend of March than the first 2 months of March. But then I think Chuck Haskell has an event planned for March. We'll see if that one happens. But that's all that's planned for. And then Honor, end of March. So
March is going to be a big month for Ohio.
Yeah, interesting. See if they can start to pick up some steam here. I know Honor's been doing a lot of events. IT, of course, is going to do a lot of events. And really the only other consistent promotions are New League Fights. Justified Defiance had been doing a lot of events, but I'm not sure what they're up to now at this point.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what the year for Ohio looks like. But Western PA, Pinnacle coming back.
March 24th.
Yeah.
Saw the announcement from Mr. Matt Layshawk.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that, man.
I think that they're going to announce the main event here in the next couple days, so that should be good.
If you got to take a stab at it.
I have no idea. I know a couple guys who I think are going to fight on the card, but I don't know who they're fighting. I know some guys who want to fight. I mean, they were talking about, of course, the hype with Jericho and Castillo, the rematch, but Castillo announced he's fighting at Bayfront Brawl, so I don't think that fight's going to happen. Plus, Jericho with his neck injury, he's just now getting back to training, so we'll see. But
I see
there's a lot of guys.
On the card.
Common Worthy could be on the card. Nick Brown, who's the lightweight champ for Pinnacle, could be on the card. I know Shaka Worthy, who was on the poster that they put up today.
I didn't
he
see
was going
that.
to make his pro debut. There's a bunch of guys in PA who could. Dan Kakuta could be on the card. There's just so many guys that could be on the card. Could be.
I saw that they were going to, unless they got renamed, a new venue.
It's the venue where they started, the Isoplex.
Isoplex.
It's called Printscape Arena now.
Gotcha.
Printscape Arena at South Point, which is nice because don't have to drive all the way into Pittsburgh. It's on the outskirts of Pittsburgh, south of Pittsburgh, closer. It cuts off like almost 45 minutes of the drive, which is nice.
But if I'm driving 5 hours to go there, I kind of want to see downtown Pittsburgh.
I mean, you still can if you want to, but if you want to get in, get out, like it's a lot easier,
Right.
a lot more convenient. So
I remember the first time I went there, I rode with Chuck Wells.
yeah, probably with Reggie was fighting, right?
Yeah, and we stopped at there's a Pizza Hut outside the Isoplex, right around the corner, somewhere around there. I just remember going there, having lunch before the fights. Venue was nice. It was it's an ice hockey rink, nothing special about it, but it was cool how they had it set up. It was really, I guess, ice hockey is big in Pittsburgh.
I mean, the Penguins. The Penguins actually used to practice at that venue, arena, or whatever it's called. They have one side where they always have the ice, and then the side where Pinnacle is, they.
I guess there's also a soccer field as well.
I'm not sure, but I know that they obviously don't have the ice out when the fights are there.
Slipping and sliding.
Yeah, it's a cool venue, and I think the fighters love that there's actual real locker rooms there. There's a little upstairs balcony area that people love, and those are the expensive tickets to get. But yeah, should be. I know that in the past, Pinnacle events had been streamed on Flow Combat, but we'll see. We'll see what they plan to do with this one. So
that would be interesting.
Some fun stuff coming up. I've got a busy month of March. I got Hardrock March, first week of March, then Pinnacle, then Honor.
I'm gonna miss the Hardrock show.
You're gonna be at Alliance, right?
Yes, I'm gonna try to go to Alliance. Hopefully
Arnold weekend.
I'm really psyched about that. I love winning.
You got to see that's cool because you can go up and you can do two events. You can go up and do the Friday event, and then you can go up and do the Saturday. It's all amateur on Friday, all pro on Saturday, which should be cool.
Apparently, there's boxing going on as well somewhere.
You going to go to the boxing too?
If it's not on one of the MMA nights.
I was like watching at the Arnold Jiu-Jitsu. They always have like combat Jiu-Jitsu tournament. They have like they have amateur boxing there.
They do.
There's a ton of Arnold. I love the Arnold.
There's a ton.
I haven't been in a couple years though.
The thing I always hate it. I can't remember last year for some reason, but the year before it was snowing.
Yeah, it's always that weekend, no matter what. Like you're cold. It's March, but it's always freezing cold.
Yeah, and like the weekend before, the weekend after, it's warm.
Yeah,
but that weekend it is freezing.
Yeah.
One of these years I want to enter in. They have 2 years ago, I think it was maybe 3. They brought in disc golf as a.
You gonna do
sport.
that? What about darts?
I don't know if that's not really a.
It is a sport.
It is a sport, yes, but it's not really much of a.
I always say if you can do it with a beer in your hand, it's not a sport.
You can do anything with a beer in your hand. Now, whether it's against the rules,
you can't drive a car with beer in your hand. You can't play football with a beer in your hand.
Oh, you can. It just might get knocked out.
Yeah. If you can do it safely with a beer in your hand, it's not a sport.
Well, that takes out golf.
Yeah. You can't play golf with a beer in your hand. Like while you're playing, you can go to the sideline, go to the golf cart, get you a beer. I've been known to do that a couple times.
Yeah.
That's different. While you're playing or doing the sport, if you can have a beer in your hand safely and still do it, it's not a sport.
But you can't do it accurately.
Right. So you can't swing a golf club with a beer in your hand.
I watched Charles Barkley swing.
Yeah.
It was popped up on
your
Facebook.
swing would probably still look better than his with.
Oh my
with the beer
God,
in your hand.
that was horrible.
Yeah.
That was on another level.
All right. Is that about it? Is that enough?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know when we started.
All right. Bye. No, I got a big weekend this weekend. So I got Beer Fest on Friday.
Yes.
Which is like my Christmas. If you listened last week, we talked about beer. Next week, I'm going to have a breakdown of all the beers I drink.
Do you have a? Do you have your tickets yet for that?
Yeah.
Is it sold out yet?
I don't know. Why do you want to go?
I do. I can't go Saturday, obviously.
We're going Friday.
Yes.
Let's go.
You want to do it?
Yep.
All right.
They don't have Bud Light.
Can I bring it?
I just want you to go and drink. I want you to. The thing that is interesting in another craft beer conversation. This won't be long, but there's so many different styles of beer you can try. I mean, you could try 50 that you don't like, and then try 50 that you love. That's the cool thing about there. I mean, you can have a beer that's a stout and completely black. You can have a beer that's a sour. That's sour, obviously. You can have a light beer. You can have dark beer, double IPA, triple IPA.
I guess
Belgian style beer. It depends on.
me.
You have to figure out what you like, what your style is.
I don't see the point of drinking beer unless I'm going out to have a good time. Like I would never go to
have a good time at Beer Fest.
I would never go to Kroger or a brewery and get a 6-pack to bring home, let it sit in the refrigerator and drink it. Like that's not my style.
Oh, okay. I don't drink. I mean, now I kind of have to drink at home because I have 2 cases of beer that I made. But I drink at home like maybe once a week. I might have a beer or 2. But it's more to me going out and doing a social thing. So that's why I like craft beer. And with the fun thing about it is going to all the breweries and different beers and things like that.
And I get that, but to me, it's like, why am I going to pay $5-6 for beer when I can have my
it's better
$3 Bud Light that tastes amazing to me?
Well,
and we're both going to end up in the same spot.
Yeah, on the floor. But yeah, I don't know. It just is what you are. Like I said last week, there's a time and a place for me for Bud Light. I still will every once in a while drink a Bud Light. I don't say I'm a craft beer fan, but I'm not a snob. I don't say you have shitty beer because I've made the mistake of saying I really really dislike beer and then my palate changes and 6 months later I love that beer.
Right.
I used to hate sour beers and then I found one that I loved and it's like
I can't believe you
this.
like that one from
Pocket Watch.
Urban Artifact.
Yeah, I got some Urban Artifact in my car.
Oh, did you pick that up at the time? You really picked some? Did you pick up some last week too?
No. I think I got something different last week.
No, but did you stop and actually get something?
Oh yeah. I told you I can't live on over here. It's too convenient.
See, this is why you need to come over here when you do the podcast in person. So you can get that's your excuse. Honey, I'm going to do a podcast, but also pick up a 6-pack.
Yeah. All right. Good beer talk. You coming on Friday then?
I believe, so it starts at 6:30?
7:30.
7:30? What time are you going now?
7:30 to 11. I think we're going to get dinner. We'll talk about it off air.
Okay. So everybody, check out BluegrassMMA.com for all kinds of information this week leading up to 3 amazing events. Hardrock MMA 96 in Shepherdsville, Kentucky. Hoosier Fight Club HFC 36 in Michigan City, Indiana. And then, of course, new league fights in Montpelier, Ohio, which is just west of Toledo. And, of course, always check out Bluegrass MMA on Twitter, at Bluegrass MMA. On Instagram, we're really going to be pushing Instagram. So check us out there, especially on fight nights. We're going to try to do some videos of previews of the fights that are going on and maybe toss up a couple stories as well. Follow us there at Bluegrass MMA. And, of course, you can follow me everywhere on social networks at I am Juan Valle.
I'm at I am MMA McKinney. At MMA McKinney on all social networks. And MMAMcKinney.com, too, if you want to listen to some or read some craft beer stuff.
Yes, check that out. He's got an excellent beer blog if you're into the craft beer scene. But until next week, we're signing off. Thank you for tuning in. And for those of you who saw us on Facebook Live, let us know how you like that. And we might try to move to that format moving forward. So take care, and we'll see you next week.